5 planes vanished here mid-mission. No distress, no wreckage. The real Bermuda Triangle story starts now. People think the Bermuda Triangle is a cursed spot in the ocean. Planes vanish, ships disappear, compasses go crazy. That's wrong. The Bermuda Triangle isn't a place, it's a misunderstanding. And once you see what's actually happening here, the mystery doesn't disappear. It gets smarter. On our maps and in our collective imagination, the Bermuda Triangle looks deceptively simple. It presents itself as a clean geometric shape etched onto the vast blue expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. 3 points, each a familiar name, form its vertices. Miami, the bustling gateway to the Americas. Bermuda, a remote jewel of an island. San Juan, the historic heart of Puerto Rico. Connect these lines, and you create a neat, glowing triangle. A vast territory of over 500,000 square miles of open water. But this simple shape is a container for some of the most complex and unsettling mysteries of the modern age. Thousands of stories live inside its boundaries. It's a place where the rules of our world seem to bend and break. We hear of lost ships, vanishing without a trace or a distress call. We picture missing aircraft, swallowed by the sky in clear weather. We imagine the final, frantic moments of a pilot reporting that the sky and sea are indistinguishable before the line goes dead. Radio silence becomes a terrifying final word. The legend tells of compasses spinning wildly, of electronic equipment failing without reason, of a strange, disorienting fog that appears from nowhere. It's a narrative that has been carefully constructed and polished over decades, starting in the mid-20th century. The name itself, the Bermuda Triangle, was coined in a 1964 Pulp magazine article, a catchy phrase that captured the public's fascination with the unknown. From there, a myth machine of books, television specials, and films took over, each adding another layer of intrigue and supposed evidence. But when we move from folklore to fact, from sensationalism to navigation, here's the first, glaring red flag. There is no official boundary, because the place itself does not officially exist. The U.S. Board on Geographic Names, the body responsible for standardizing place names for the federal government, does not recognize the Bermuda Triangle. It has no entry in their databases. No government recognizes it. Not the United States, not the United Kingdom, not any maritime authority on Earth. To them, this is simply the Sargasso Sea, a part of the Atlantic Ocean with its own unique but entirely natural characteristics. No shipping authority marks it on their charts. Look at any official nautical map or air navigation chart. It isn't there. Insurance companies like Lloyd's of London, who meticulously calculate risk for every square mile of ocean, do not charge higher premiums for vessels transiting this area. To them, it is statistically no more dangerous than any other heavily trafficked stretch of open sea. So if the experts, the cartographers, the insurers, and the governments all agree that it's just another piece of the ocean, why does this region feel so different in our minds? Why has the myth of the Bermuda Triangle proven so durable, so resistant to official explanation? The answer lies not in what's on the map, but in the stories we've chosen to tell about it. This region, etched into our collective imagination, sits at a powerful and often perilous crossroads. It's not just a location on a map, but a convergence point where the forces of nature and the ambitions of humanity collide with dramatic and sometimes inexplicable consequences. Spanning a vast expanse of the North Atlantic, from the Florida Straits, through the Bahamas and out past Bermuda, this area has long been a crucible of maritime and aviation history. At its heart flows the Gulf Stream, a massive warm river within the ocean, moving at speeds that can exceed 5 miles per hour. This powerful current acts like a conveyor belt, influencing weather patterns and sea conditions for thousands of miles. This warm, moist artery clashes violently with the cold, dry air masses that sweep down from the North American continent. This collision is a recipe for meteorological chaos. It can spawn sudden, ferocious storms, waterspouts, and extreme turbulence with little to no warning, creating a volatile and unpredictable environment for any vessel or aircraft caught within its grasp. Compounding these natural hazards, this region is also a superhighway of global commerce and travel. It hosts some of the busiest shipping and flight routes on Earth, a constant stream of cargo ships, cruise liners, private yachts, and commercial airliners. The sheer volume of traffic naturally increases the probability of accidents. More traffic means more incidents. And in a place steeped in legend, more incidents mean more stories, feeding a mythology that has grown for generations. But traffic and weather alone don't explain everything. They don't account for the unsettling pattern of disappearances, the reports of malfunctioning equipment, and the eerie silences from seasoned pilots and captains who vanished without a trace. There are persistent, credible accounts suggesting something here messes with navigation. For centuries, mariners have noted erratic compass behavior in this area. It's one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align, a phenomenon that can confuse navigators who don't account for the subtle but constant shifts in the Earth's magnetic field. This anomaly, this confluence of environmental, human, and geophysical factors is not a myth. It's real, and understanding it is the first step to separating fact from fiction. This ocean creates storms fast, not slow, predictable systems. Explosive ones. Waves here can reach over 80 feet. Winds shift direction in minutes. Before satellites, ships had no warning. They sailed straight into walls of water. Many never came back. No curse needed, just physics. Now here's where it gets interesting. For centuries, the magnetic compass was the single most important instrument in a navigator's toolkit. It was a piece of technology that felt like magic, a sliver of magnetized metal that faithfully pointed the way, allowing humanity to cross vast, featureless oceans and connect the world. It was trusted implicitly. But this trust was based on a fundamental and often misunderstood principle of our planet. You see, the Earth has two norths. There's true north, the fixed point at the top of the globe, the axis on which our planet spins. And then there's magnetic north, a wandering point in the Canadian Arctic that the needle of a compass is actually drawn to. In most places on Earth, these two norths are separated by a few degrees. This angular difference is called magnetic declination, or variation. For hundreds of years, skilled mariners knew all about this. It was a routine part of their calculations. They carried detailed charts that mapped out the declination across the globe, allowing them to correct their compass reading and find their true heading. You'd read your compass, consult your chart for the local variation, add or subtract a few degrees, and you'd know exactly where you were going. It was a reliable system, a cornerstone of global navigation. But the Earth's magnetic field is not static. It's a dynamic, flowing entity. And with it, the lines of declination drift and shift over time. This creates a rare phenomenon, an agonic line. A place on the surface where the declination is zero, where magnetic north and true north align perfectly. And for a crucial period in history, from the age of sail well into the 20th century, one of these agonic lines passed directly through the Bermuda Triangle. Early navigators entering this region didn't know this. Their charts, perhaps printed years earlier, told them to expect a certain declination, to correct their course by a few degrees. But here, in this one specific area, that correction was not needed. By following their charts and applying a correction that was no longer valid, they were inadvertently steering themselves off course. Their meticulously prepared correction charts failed them. When they took sightings of the sun or stars to fix their position, they'd find a discrepancy. The math wouldn't add up. The natural and terrifying conclusion for a sailor in the middle of the ocean was not that the Earth itself was playing a trick on them, but that their most trusted instrument was failing. They thought their compasses were broken. They weren't. The compasses were working perfectly. The Earth was just being honest, and the navigators, relying on outdated information, couldn't understand what it was telling them. This single, subtle geophysical quirk became a seed for confusion and fear. Because at sea, there is no room for error. Small navigation errors at sea scale into massive, potentially fatal mistakes. Miss your heading by just 1 degree, an almost imperceptible deviation. After a day's sail, you might be off by a few miles. But over a journey of 1,000 miles, that single degree sends you nearly 20 miles wide of your target. 20 miles in the open ocean is an eternity. It's the difference between making landfall and sailing into oblivion. It's how a ship, crewed by experienced sailors, could follow their instruments with discipline and care, and still manage to vanish from the face of the earth. They weren't taken by a monster or a portal. They were victims of a simple, deadly miscalculation, born from a planet's hidden secret. Look beneath the surface. This isn't calm water stacked neatly downward. It's layered, moving, sliding. The Gulf Stream flows faster than most rivers. If a ship sinks here, debris doesn't float back. It's pulled away, scattered, erased. No wreckage means mystery. In the 1950s, something changed. Books, headlines, radio shows. Authors started grouping unrelated accidents into one story. Dates ignored, locations stretched. A legend was born. Once people expected mystery, every accident confirmed it. This is how myths survive. Not by lying, by selecting. Here's the twist. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't break the laws of physics. It stacks them. Busy traffic, unstable weather, navigation quirks, fast currents, individually harmless, together unforgiving. The danger isn't supernatural. It's statistical. Today, planes fly over this region constantly. GPS, satellites, radar, weather modeling. Nothing disappears anymore. Not because the triangle stopped working, because we learned how it works. Mystery thrives where information is thin. The Bermuda Triangle isn't proof of something unknown. It's proof of something human. Our need to explain fear with stories. Our habit of drawing shapes on chaos. The ocean didn't change. We did.